In this video, I am sharing 5 reasons why a minivan is the right rig for you when it comes to van life or car camping. But you get a free bonus before we even get into the 5, and that is, what other ride can you look this cool in but a minivan? Bonus! Hi friends and adventurers, Heather here from Heather's Hikes and Adventures. Welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, welcome. You picked a good time to tune in, because if you were wondering what your next rig should be, or what the best vehicle might be for you to go car camping or traveling in, then you've come to the right place, because I think that that vehicle is a minivan, and I'm going to share 5 reasons why that is. And we are going to get right into those now. So let's start with number 1. That's right. We're going to go ahead and get the stealth factor out of the way right up front, because that's one of the reasons most people go to a minivan or SUV or some type of passenger vehicle. They want to be able to blend in and not look like they're obviously sleeping or camping inside of their vehicle, that they're not using it as lodging or, you know, a habitation or anything, especially with, you know, all of the new and changing laws and all of the states changing what they do and do not allow. It's kind of more important than ever to be able to have that stealth factor and not stand out as a camping vehicle when you are out and about, seeing the sights, traveling, you know, dwelling, urban dwelling, whatever your specific case may be. So definitely have to say number 1 is the stealth factor. But that's not only exclusive to just a minivan, so let's move on to number 2. Let's be real. What is more unassuming, more non-noticeable when you're out seeing the sights, or when you're in a tourist area or a busy area or out in the national parks? Let's be honest, you're probably the least likely to notice a minivan. They basically all look very similar. You'll find that a lot of them are in one of a few colors, and so just by sheer quantity, it's kind of the opposite of standing out. You basically look like everybody else on the road. For instance, there are a ton of gray Dodge Grand Caravans on the road. I personally see multiple every day that I'm out driving. And it's kind of become a joke between me and my kids when we're out and about. Like, hey, look, there's another coolest car ever. But it is very true. I mean, you might notice a really nice looking sedan, coupe. You know, there's some really, really sexy SUVs out there. And as much as I love my minivan, most people see minivan and they think soccer mom, or, you know, vehicle full of kids going from place to place, hot mess, not even worth taking a second glance at, you know, that kind of thing. So it's definitely the perfect vehicle if you are wanting a standard vehicle to camp in and you don't want to stand out or be noticeable if you're going to be in a lot of unfamiliar areas. You don't want to be like super memorable. Get yourself a minivan. All right, let's move on to number 3. All right, I know at this point some of you may be wondering if this is a parody and if I'm actually trying to sell the minivan as a good option. But I am, because I do truly believe that it is a jack of all trades when it comes to having a camper. And the next thing that I want to talk about is the fact that you can pretty much drive or park anywhere. And by that, I mean, I don't mean illegally, of course. I just mean you don't have to worry about certain roads having, you know, height restrictions for clearance if there's tunnels or bridges. You don't have to worry about weight restrictions, width restrictions. For instance, the tunnel at Zion that you need to go through, if you're over a certain width, you cannot go that way. You have to go the longer alternate route. So if you're in a minivan, you really can pretty much go anywhere without worrying about any kind of restrictions. In fact, there's a campsite down in the Keys that I really want to get to, but you cannot have any higher clearance than a minivan, not even a cargo box on top. So that is another plus. You can literally go anywhere that a vehicle can legally drive and park. Now we're going to get into the more minivan specific, can't also use this excuse or reason for a different kind of passenger vehicle reasons. Let's talk about how freaking roomy they are. Look at Tara. She still has the middle row seats up. I have my bed set up back there. I can and have car camped in exactly this setup and had plenty of room to stretch out in bed, plenty of space behind and under the seats to bring what I needed. In fact, I'll link that super simple minimal setup below. Perfect for a solo traveler or van lifer. But I mean, look at it. I have so much space. You've got so much headroom. I didn't truly realize how much room and space was inside a minivan until I stowed the second and third row and just saw the wide open space and palette that I had to work with. It opens up so many options for so many layouts. I have a layout where I'll use a cot lengthwise. I have several setups like this one where I'm using a bed widthwise. I have so many options, and then I still have a lot of room to maneuver around, change, go to the bathroom in the case of an emergency, cook, eat. If I get trapped during a monsoon and I can't get out of my vehicle for 24 hours, I can be pretty much self-contained and self-sufficient without feeling claustrophobic. And lastly, the number 5 reason that I think a minivan is the perfect camper vehicle or rig option is that considering all of the different rigs available to you, trucks, truck campers, trailers, a lot of full-size SUVs, you know, maybe not so much the compact or some of the mids or hybrids, of course, but for the most part, you get really decent mileage still for a minivan if you consider the space. Obviously, you're not going to get as good a mileage as if you're in a Prius or, you know, any other small, super economical car. This does have a 20-gallon tank, and, you know, it does have not ideal mileage. It doesn't have as good a mileage as, you know, either of my parents' cars, my dad's CX-5, small SUV, but overall, if you compare it to full-size vans, cargo vans, you know, the Sprinter, Transit, ProMaster route, or any type of RV, camper, Class C, anything like that, and you have night and day difference. And what that means is that you really are free to see more of the world. If you're on a constraint where you need to travel slowly because of gas, you know, if you need to spend a few extra days in an area to build up funds before you can invest in the gas money needed to get, you know, several states away to another destination, those are things that you're going to want to heavily consider, because if you do end up going with a small RV or a camper van or something along those lines, even just a full-sized conversion van, you know, you're going to be getting a lot more gas and spending a lot more each time you stop. So that is definitely something that is going to eat into your overall budget and could potentially end up becoming a liability. So that's why I kind of like my minivan. It is a bigger, roomier, camperier type vehicle, but you still get the good mileage that you get with a passenger vehicle. So again, aside from the sweet bonus that we started with, on how cool you will look driving your minivan, I think that I have given you 5 very good arguments for why you should definitely consider, at least mill around with the idea of choosing a minivan for your next camping or van life vehicle. Now, I'm not going to pretend that it's all sunshines and roses and that there's no downside at all. If you want to know what those are, I do have 6 of them that I am going to be sharing with you on the next video. So hopefully I'll see you then.